GP, we see a big variety of refugees from very different backgrounds. I think the previous traumas that refugees have been through, together with the challenges that they face here in terms of adjusting, yeah, I think it puts immense stress on the mental health of people, definitely. My refugee patients, I think I admire, they've got tremendous resilience and courage, and they're a group of people that have taught me a lot about life and what is important.
There is no fear. We're comfortable.
In Iraq, we were always fearful. When your kids went to school, you wouldn't know when they will return. Here, you're comfortable. No one bothers you. No one harasses you. There, we were afraid. Here, we are not. Now we are here, but some fear still remains with us. We take antidepressant and vitamin D tablets. We choose to take medication because we are worried. There was fear over there, problems, but here we are comfortable. Praise be to God. We are happier. When we meet people, they have values. In Iraq, people have no values. If someone is killed, they let them die and throw them away. This group kills, that group kills. Nothing works and there is no law. It is the law of the jungle. Here, it is very pleasant. Australia is like God's paradise. I think no country is nicer than Australia. We like people here. They are pleasant and civilized. No one bothers one another. It is nice.
I think for a lot of refugees, there's so many challenges. There's the social adjustment to the customs of Australia. There's the isolation that they're experiencing, the language barriers, but there's also the dietary adjustment to the foods that are here.
We are always happy. The first month in Australia was a little bit difficult, but we got acquainted with people. We met neighbors and people were coming and gathering. We were very happy.
Our neighbors were very welcoming. One of the neighbors assisted us. She made us very happy. Another neighbor helped us a lot. Even offered us a table and chairs.
When Dima first went to school, she said it was very difficult. She didn't know the language. It was hard for us too. We had no experience. Now Dima speaks English. Arfan speaks English. Everything is good. They are with Australians, they play with their friends, and that makes us very happy.
It's a case of getting people to open up and talk about that, and think about opening up and talking to others about it, and telling them that they can change the way they think about things, often through discussion with others.
We were in Turkey for 2 years. Prior to that, we were in Iraq. Iraq was unpleasant. It was a bad time and ISIS came and occupied Mosul, and our situation was very bad. Our life was not secure. When our children went to school, we were worried until they returned. We were worried they could get kidnapped, arrested, killed. It was a miserable life in Iraq, so we left for Turkey. In Turkey, we applied at the Australian Embassy in Ankara to come to Australia. We gave them our documents. We were accepted as refugees on humanitarian grounds, escaping from Iraq. We waited 5 or 6 months until we were granted refugee status. Iraq was like an inferno. You didn't know when you'll be killed, when something will happen to you. Your life was not safe. There was no security at all. We were afraid of everything, so we came to Australia. We have been in Australia for about 8 months. Australia is nice, praise be to God. It is God's paradise and the people are lovely.
I think a lot of refugees have a stigma around the idea of mental health, and mental health is a sign of weakness. I often look at it more as saying, it's talking to people and getting help with things that are very stressful in life. Previous witness of, trauma, family separations, as I said, language barriers. They're massively stressful events, for anyone.
We shifted our minds away from Iraq when we arrived here. Since then, we don't follow the news from Iraq. Sometimes we come across some news on Facebook. Other than that, we don't follow the news. We've had enough headaches and worries from the news. We hope things get better in Iraq and in the entire world.
I do recognise that I think we need to gain people's trust of us before we can go there, and opening it up as just someone else to talk to. And that opens up the pathway of saying how much talking to people in general might be able to help, particularly talking to people like psychologists or psychiatrists, in terms of it's a realization of the difference it can make.
For people who come here, the Australian law is the same for them as for the Australians. Get Iraq out of your head. In Iraq, it was hell. Here, it is paradise. Here, people are forgiving. They know God. They have a nice life and are friendly. You meet someone on the street, you think you have known them for years. You go shopping and it pleases you to be there. You can buy anything. Australia is very pleasant. It is very different from Iraq.
Refugees sort of need to understand the impact of bad sort of mental health and stress and anxiety on their physical health, on their interaction with their families, on their social interactions, and on their adaptation to a life here. Stress and anxiety often present with poor sleep, decreased appetite, decreased energy, but it's frequently too anger and withdrawal from socialization.
I also do exercises. In the morning, we go walking.
When you can see people that get through that struggle and come out the other side and are living with hope and with joy, it's a massive reward.
You are very welcome. We welcome the Australians, everyone, the case workers, everyone. You are all welcome.
كيف